C Motorhome is the most expensive, most custom Super C motorhome in the world. This coach has all kinds of features that we've never seen in any other motorhome. I am extremely impressed with the engineering and fabrication that has gone into this coach. Today we're hanging out at 1492 Coach Works in Oklahoma City with Aaron, the owner. How you doing today, sir?
Good, Andrew. How are you?
I'm doing great,
Good.
and I'm really excited to see what you and your team came up with. What are we looking at here, sir?
Well, we're excited to show you. This is a brand new 45-foot Super C motor coach. It's on a Freightliner Cascadia chassis. It's 100% aluminum fabrication, front to back. There's no fiberglass. We have the industry exclusive valid slides with the air seal on the semi chassis. Nobody else can do that, and there's multiple things on it. I think we're the only ones that have done it, so we're excited to show you.
All kinds of stuff I've never seen in any other motor coach. Inside, outside, you guys are in for a treat today, so let's take a closer look.
Let's go.
Now this coach has valid slides. I know that's a huge cost, and I want to go over all the other costs in this coach because to my knowledge this is the most expensive Super C motorhome. Do you think you can help explain to us why it commands such a premium?
Sure. First of all, it's 100% aluminum. Every bit of it, from the frame all the way up, all the bay doors, it's fully fabricated, fully welded out.
The caps are not fiberglass?
The caps are not fiberglass. There's no fiberglass on the rear end. One piece aluminum roof on the top of it. The bay doors, you know, as we go and open and close those, you'll see.
Let's do it right away. I got it. You know, I'm so excited to show everybody the quality because there's so much quality in this coach, but I mean, it's very stout.
That was like, we literally started with like a top 10. Like we just talked to people and kind of literally wrote down a top 10 of things that we wanted to accomplish that were either cool stuff that we saw on somebody else's deal or just complaints or issues, and bay doors are #1 issue. And that was our big deal, like countless stories of them just flying open going down the road. So when you got the 3-inch thick door, it's got sound deadening in it, it's got automotive latch, it's got the auto lock on it, you know. Then because we like to build in redundancy into the systems, because unfortunately stuff does break, it all electronically locks, auto lights inside the whole 9 yards, but they're all keyed, so there's a manual override for it. If worst case scenario locking system fails, you can come in. It's tied to the entry door. You can press 3 and 4, it'll lock all the bay doors, or just unlock the bay doors, or you know, vice versa on that. So it's kind of a really nice system, and I think we've had rave reviews on the doors on how they work. It's 100% our design. The hinge is stainless, the pin stainless, brass bushings. I mean, it's really high quality stuff, and that's a lot of, you know, throughout the whole thing, that's the theme, is just way overbuilt, meant to last the life of the truck and be of high value. So,
and talking about the bay doors, the basement bays in this coach are finished out unlike anything we've seen in a Super C motorhome. You've got outdoor kitchen. I'm looking forward to opening this all up in a second, but these are all completely custom built. To my knowledge, you're not building these like on a production line. Every one of these is fully custom. How does that work?
We say it all the time. It starts with a conversation. What are you looking for? What's important? Do you need bay storage? You know, some of the guys that pull stacker trailers don't really care about bay storage. This coach is a good example of that. So we put the Traeger and the outside sink and the grill and all that because the bay storage was less. He's going to have a stacker, so it was less important. If you need storage for your camp gear and all that stuff, bay storage might be more important to you. So again, throughout the whole process, that's just kind of what we do, and then build it all in. We do some simple stuff. I can show you. We didn't originally do this, but this was a comment from a customer. So like these 2 bays, there's no bulkhead in here to get bigger where they can put long stuff in. You know, the first couple we did, we just bulkheaded all of them, and then it was like, yeah, I get that. We need to put longer stuff in there. And then this one has the bulkhead, you know, in it for the bay. All of our bays are standard. If they're storage bays, they have an outlet in them.
Okay, every bay.
Yep, every bay. Just because you want to be able to plug things in, golf cart charger, any of that. Outdoor sink. So when the slide's extended, this is a 24-inch travel, slide comes about here, you can still open and close that grill. So
the high-end Dometic cooler like we see in the multi-million-dollar motorhomes. Now I have a lot of questions I want to ask you about pricing and all of this, but let's keep looking through these bays here.
Again, and on that one's just the storage bay as well, like we just opened. Depending on where the door is, you know, all that stuff moves. moves around. If this door was a little bit further back because it needed to be for the inside layout, that bay might need to move in front of the door.
I see the custom wheels too.
Yeah.
I love the American racing
Yeah.
wheels. We've been seeing these pop up on the multi-million-dollar motorhomes. I see you're
Kind
following
of sets
suit.
the whole thing off, and
Yes,
when you
sir.
black a coach out, that's cool. I kind of just like there's a little bit of polished accent in that too.
Well, and I
Looks
like
good.
the it looks like a blacked out look, but this is actually like a metallic, a very rich, almost a bronze, or
Yeah.
what's the color on this?
We don't know, frankly. It was sort of like a root beer kind of color, Porsche brown. Like Porsche has this brown color that's got metallic in it. And that's what kind of drove it with the customer. And then I wanted to add maybe a little bit more green in it, so we kind of got that. And man, when depending on the sun, it completely changes. It flops like crazy. It's a cool color.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. And I just want to point out a couple things I'm noticing that you and your team did that you don't see on other motorhomes. These windows are totally flush, where a lot of the frameless windows out there, you'll see they'll put them on top of this, but this is actually cut into the sidewall so that it's completely flush. It's a lot of extra work to do that, to have that window fit like that. The only other companies doing that, you're going to be over $2 million to get that kind of a finish. And then also same thing with the slides. This has got the valid slides. So again, giving it that fully flush look while it's going down the road. Just a great looking machine.
Through the whole thing, it's kind of that flush, smooth, rounded, aesthetic is what we were going for. This has as much function as it does form. Recessing that in there reduces the wind noise, reduces the chance that it might leak, all that stuff. Plus it looks cool, and super clean.
And I think we might, if we have time, we might take this for a test drive later. If we do, I'll leave that video in the description below. But I'm excited about these two bays here. A little outdoor kitchen and a Super C.
Yeah, this sink, again, it's under the slide out, so it keeps coming out to where it gets out past. So like in my situation with 3 young kids, if we're going camping, like we got to have a spot to clean up the marshmallows,
Yes, sir.
But for this customer primarily, they're at a racetrack and they get greasy and all that, so they kind of wanted this out here to be able to clean up from, working on the cars, but also because
Gotta have that trigger.
gotta have the Traeger. So the Traeger, we put it on the pull out, it'll extend out, we can get it to extend out further and all that. Some people don't want to smoke on the side of their coach, I get that, so we make that removable so it can come off. I'm that way, like I'm not gonna smoke a brisket up beside my coach, kind of deal, but everything, all of this bracketry and the mounting hardware and the drawer glides and all that, we fabricate all that in-house. It's not some pre-bought, deal, but the Traeger is a pretty cool feature.
Yeah, super clean too, very robust. When you put all this in and close everything, very, very firm. Coming around to the back side of this coach, I love the 1492 Coachworks on the mud flap.
Yeah.
And then really sleek looking rear end with that rear cap. What's going on back here?
Well, it's not a rear cap. That's kind of our spoiler, right? And it ties in with the awnings, but even that is 100% aluminum, fully fabricated, welded out, metal finish bodywork, not something that's going to break, crack, all that stuff. Like it's real. There's a ton of work put into that, and I think it's got a cool look. And again, it just ties in. That's what we call our clean line roof system, where the cab over is stepped up a little bit, and then the Girard awning into the side, and then it's either a second Girard awning, which is typically what it is on this side, or fake case coming back to this. And then we gutter that. So there's bracketry up there that sort of directs the water to spouts that are on the side, and it can only kind of come off where we want it. And then the overflow, if you will, if it was really raining and coming down, is it's going to come off the back.
Okay.
So we kind of integrated that in, because you don't want water just coming
Dripping
down
all over the
whatever,
side of
dripping
the
down the
coach.
side and all that. So again, this whole back end is all 100% aluminum. Everything's welded out. I like the 3 lights. First of all, that's great reverse light on it when you're backing up. But if you're stopped on the side, even if you have a trailer, a stacker that's full height behind it, those lights are, something's going on. If there's an issue and you're pulled over for whatever reason, it's a safety thing, and they know when you're coming over. So I like that. I like the lighting package that's on it.
And I think we're going to see a theme of lighting as we go through this coach. You like your lighting.
If anybody knows me, they know I got an issue.
Yes, sir. Now, towing capacity. me on this. That is a beefy looking hitch. And then above the towing capacity, when I saw this at the Bear Jackson, I got really excited about what you were doing back here. Can you show that off for us?
The first thing that I always like to point out is we fabricate our own hitch. This is a Gen Y insert, which is a really cool rubber torsion. We buy that bolted in. I think it's a great hitch. Doesn't have to be that. We can do a mini kingpin or whatever, but this portion of what we're doing and all of this in here, it's 3/8 plate that comes all the way down and around and under here and back up, and then another 3/8 plate steel that comes all the way down underneath it and all the way back up here. It goes 4 feet forward on the back end, so we lock that whole rear end of the truck frame together before we ever even start putting any of our own fabrication on top of it. And what that kind of allowed was it just created this big giant cavity at the back of the coach that made for this.
Talk about utilizing space. I mean, what other Super C motorhome has this deep? I mean, this is very deep, all finished out with Rhino liner. Great utilization.
Yeah, you know, like all the long stuff, right? This is a setup for air brakes, so it's an air brake truck, but we set it up both ways. Also has electric, so if you got electric over hydraulic or electric brake trailer or any of that, it does that all automatically.
Tow vehicle, flat tow, set up for that too.
Yeah, exactly. Back here, and all these bays are kind of configurable. This is a combination of the waste tanks are under there. We've got the cord reel under here. It's got the smart transfer switch, so you can see what the voltage is and all that stuff all from your screen in-house. Electric cord reel, of course.
Yeah.
We put this extra screen out here. We call it the wet base screen, so you can turn on a water pump if you need lights, if you need any of that stuff. That's all done from out here. You don't have to go inside. In addition to that, our coaches are standard with the cell phone, the app function, so you can and remote login, so you can log in, you know, when you're 1,000 miles away, as long as the coach has internet, and fire everything up, get it cooling in while you're flying in or any of that stuff. So generally our wet bay will be back here. So typical setup is the storage or the fun stuff's on the entry door side, and all the mechanical stuff we try and keep on this side of it.
This is a beefy looking exhaust tip right here.
Truck exhaust.
Towards the back of the coach.
Yep.
What's going on there?
That's the truck exhaust here. This is the hydronic exhaust for the AquaHot system that's in here, and then the generator's in the next bay up, and we bring that exhaust up, and it's actually coming out at the top. You don't have to put a Genturi on it if you're in that place that you're supposed to have. Yeah, racetracks, some national parks require, and it's kind of just polite, you know, if you're you have a neighbor beside you, you know, dumping it.
Safety issue as well.
So we kind of do that. Again, that was kind of customer driven. We had a customer ask us to do it. I'm like, I get what you're saying. Like, let's see if we can do it. We can't always do that built-in Genturi. It kind of depends on where it all lands and everything on the inside. But if that's something that's important, we kind of keep that in mind and in the notes and sort of design around that. This is the AquaHot 675D, so the 240 volt, you know, electric element in it as well. It's the big boy, the bad boy, you know.
Same thing we're going to see in the Newell coach.
For sure. You don't have to run diesel, you know, and still have hot water. And then our manifold system that's here, so is unique to us on the Super C, I believe. I haven't seen one where all of our water systems, so it's a home run from here to the kitchen sink or the toilet or whatever, and it's all split off here. So there's no fittings, like we don't bury fittings inside the coach anywhere. It's here and at the fixture. So PEX won't burst, PEX won't freeze, none of that. It's the fittings that fail. Keep the fittings set to outside or inside where you can service it. It shouldn't have any water issues from the water line stuff. Plus, if it's the cold side of your sink or something like that, you know, faucets can go bad, all that kind of stuff, or your mid-bath toilet or whatever, one of them goes bad, you can turn that off and keep using your coach until we can get you in for service. So I like that. We do that with the hot and the cold side. All the labeling, which, you know, I say all the time, it's kind of coachy. It's not a sticker that's put on there, and it's labeled, you know, it's a nice engraved label that's on all the...
Yeah, I like that. Now, talking about service, this has a 3-year warranty. What all is included in that 3-year warranty?
Full coverage. So anything we build that's not, you know, like a truck component, generator, AquaHot, all that, we're going to service and warranty for 3 years. We're going to service it forever, but we're going to warranty. If your generator were to fail, we're going to stand behind it. And that's kind of, I think, exclusive to us, and it certainly should be industry leading. But that's what, on Outback Customs on the horse trailer side and specialty side of our business, that's always who we've been. That's what we are. That's what we built our reputation on. And that's exactly what we're going to do with this. Is it's service before, during, and after the sale. And we're going to stand behind it, so we might as well label it as a warranty. You know?
I respect that, and we're going to get more of Aaron's story too. You've been in business with Outback Conversions for a long time. But let's keep taking a look at this, Coach. You're talking about the generator.
So this is a 12,000 kilowatt generator, not a 12.5, because this is the commercial unit. You can see it's labeled right there. We buy that unit specifically because they take 500 watts and they do an alternator built in. So it's got a battery charging capability. And then up here in the battery bay, this battery here, labeled generator battery, this battery only runs that generator. If your coach was to go dead and your truck for whatever reason were to be dead, you should always be able to come out and start your generator, charge your coach batteries, and then we have a jump start feature, a pairing feature where the coach batteries can get paired with your truck batteries and kind of jump start your truck, because they can get hard to start, any of these big diesel engines, when it gets cold especially. So having that feature, it's kind of a standalone. It's not, the generator battery is not tied to coach, or if there's a charging issue or whatever, you should always be able to start your generator, and the generator charges it. So it's kind of a nice, it's a standalone feature, so it's some of the redundancy built in.
Yeah, a lot of redundancy.
While that bay is open, this one just has two 8D batteries on it. Again, it's how they use it. We've got lithium options, we've got lithium battery packs that we can do, twin inverter setups, all of that stuff. It's all configurable. That's the coach batteries down there. Truck batteries, chassis batteries are there.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you more about the cost on that lithium when we get inside, but I also see the central vac kit here, all the features that we would see.
Which on the inside, there's the toe sweep and there's a vac port, but we also, in the bay on the other side, we put a vac port in the ceiling of that. So, if you want to vacuum Cheerios out of your stroller or whatever.
Hey, or your car, pull your car up
or your car or whatever it is.
I come from the detail world, so anytime you have a vac, that's a lot of value there.
Exactly. On this, so this is basically our mechanical bay. So we have the control system that runs everything. You run your slides, all that stuff from any of the screens, things of that nature. Anything can have an issue. So we wanted to build in some redundancy to this, where if that control system were to have an issue, you can still get the jacks up. That's the valid screen here for the slides. So anything that's got to come up, there's a manual override on the inside for your awnings. So anything that's got to kind of come up or go in to get you on the road, we've built in manual controls for all that. So just trying to build in some redundancy.
Yeah, and I really like, again, that same theme of these aren't just cheap labels. They're actually, labeled professionally.
Engraved, gonna stay there,
very cool.
Yeah. What sent us down the building our own coaches was just we'd serviced and we'd worked on a lot, and just some of the electrical stuff and the in-serviceability of it was just absurd. So we go to a lot of time. I mean, you asked the question in the beginning, what drives the value or the cost? Well, this is what you're buying, and this is a lot of the value. It's the unseen stuff. It's all the labeling. Every single wire in here is labeled. It's all routed. The grounds are labeled, all that stuff, and it takes a tremendous amount of time to label that. This is your air system for your valid, that's all labeled as to what it's going to and all that. There is as much time into the outside in the bay and the mechanical stuff as there is putting the entire interior in it. So when we get to the interior point, it's kind of like the hard work's done, We're just making it pretty at that point.
Yeah. Well, you want to make sure the systems work. That's what's most important.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Somebody is going to buy one because it looks pretty, and they're going to buy a second one because they had good luck with their first one.
I don't care how pretty it is. If you don't have a hot shower, you're not going to care about how pretty it is.
That's right. Those are not fun phone calls.
No, sir.
And then this is just air system, air hose reel for the truck. So basically that's just to air up tires, air up toys, air down, and then this is the end of the fuel tank here.
And then what's the diesel fuel carrying capacity?
This one's 120. You fill it here. It's got the DEF tank here. On a Freightliner, if we need to do a second tank, we usually put it on the opposite side, and you lose that front bay with it. On the Peterbilt and Kenworth product, we can actually do 2 tanks under each entry door and not lose a bay. And they move the regen unit into under the frame, which is kind of a nice feature also. So
what does the capacity go to when you go to the 2 tanks?
200 gallon typically.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a lot of diesel fuel.
For sure. Yeah, and when you're 6 miles or so, a gallon is about what you would average, just going 75 mile an hour down the road. 6 is a pretty good average. I mean, it's nice. And then you got your generator runs off it and all that stuff. And if you're going, especially get out west, and you can be 100 miles, you know, from something that you can actually fill up in that or feel comfortable. So I like big capacity myself.
Before we go inside in a moment, I just want to show everyone, when we were doing the factory tour, one thing you pointed out, this is all metal, and we have the B-roll shots of the structure before this is converted, so you can see metal, you know, frame around that. Same thing with the front cap, no fiberglass on the caps. A lot of value in just that structure.
Yeah, for sure. I say all the time, we weld the heck out of it, but I don't want to see them. You know, like that's then there is a lot of work in that, but it's something we feel good about. Like it's going to last, right? Yeah. So it's not screwed together or nothing like that.
I'm noticing cameras all around the coach. We'll see those when we go inside. Yeah. Now one other thing I really like about the front end is the 1492 Coachworks badging on that front cap. Again, all aluminum. That's not fiberglass, but really looks good. But what's the power plant that we're working with here?
This is a 605 horse Detroit, so the DD15. It's mated to the DT12 transmission, so it's got 2,050 foot-pounds of torque. So like it's as big and as bad as you can get on this one. The Peterbilt stuff is usually, and we've done a couple Freightliners that are the Cummins X15 mated to an Allison or the 18-speed. I mean, all that stuff, again, that's part of the process. You get to spec your truck too. You don't have to take what we got. You just get to have an input on that. I say all the time, it's like Ford, Chevy, Dodge. Like, I don't really care. Whatever truck you really want, that's fine, you know.
I don't know anybody else doing that too. Yeah. So a lot of value that folks can choose the platform that they want you to convert on. But well, I'm impressed with the outside of this, but there's a lot of cool little trick stuff on the inside. You can show us in there?
Yeah, let's go.
This is unlike any Super C we've ever seen. So much interior space in here. What's all going on inside of this coach?
To the best of my recollection, we do have the industry-leading interior height. So the coach will be right at 13.4, 13.3 on the overall height on the outside. So kind of stacker trailer height and all that. If you're hauling a stacker, it'll be that. We control everything. We fab everything. We can change cab over. We actually have one in process right now. It's the customer wanted a king-size bed in the cab over portion, so we can extend that because we fab everything here. So that's the big deal. You know, we are an interior company. That's what we've always done, but actually what separates us apart is the fab stuff, which we kind of went over. On the interior stuff, it's full custom. So I always say beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Somebody might think this is a beautiful interior. The next person might come in and think it's, you know, ugly. That's fine. Like, we don't have hurt feelings. It's whatever you want. I like this interior. I was very pleased with how it's turned out. We're kind of in the final stages of QC and everything and going through it all still, which is a pretty lengthy process, but I was very pleased with, I like this coach a lot. I love this layout. We have the largest slides, so they are the Valid slides like we talked about, but we install the largest slide that Valid has ever made.
Talking about different customization, I think those Valid slides allow you to do a lot more customization. We saw a bunk coach where the bunk was in the slide room. I believe it was a 21-foot slide room, unlike anything we've seen in the industry. Now, the Valid slides, not only can you be custom with them, but the height of these slide rooms, being a Super C, I'm 6'2", standing inside of the slide room of this coach. So lots of flexibility here, but what's some of the other stuff that 1492 is able to do with all this flexibility?
I mean, literally every single thing. I mean, not only stitch patterns or custom seating, but like you're picking the thread color, you're picking all that stuff. This has got a kind of a hex. We did that a few coaches ago, and quite a few people liked it, so we have a few more orders to come out. I like the hex pattern on it, but you're picking the leather, you're picking the thread color. It's truly fully custom. I mean, down to the thread color. This is our own in-house built seating. We also offer Villa seating if somebody wants that more kind of traditional, which is awesome seating. They do a great job. This is we call this our convertible sofa. We kind of developed this. This is a queen bed.
This is what we're seeing in the newer Lamborghinis, Audis. The diamond pattern is kind of trended out a little bit. Now, other than this pattern, are there other patterns that you guys are doing? Or?
Tell me an idea, you know, literally. really. Yeah, we've got, like you said, diamonds. We've got one that kind of sunbursts out. We don't have to do anything. We can do it two-tone. I mean, there's a ton of different stuff, and that's part of the fun of, you know, what we get to do is really just design, you know, talk about it. I mean, people send in a picture, they saw something on an Andrew Steele video. Happens all the time, you know. Truly, it does. You know, it's kind of a, hey, we saw this and whatever, and we do our best to kind of like, yeah, let's incorporate that or put our spin on it or our improvement or whatever. But this convertible sofa idea kind of came from most of the hide-a-bed stuff. There's a cushion that you got to take out, and then there's a hide-a-bed that you got to take out. Even I've seen some of them where there's blocks that you got to put underneath it and all that stuff. And we were trying to develop a sofa that was comfortable, but as much as anything, it makes into a bed. So this is a queen bed. We can make this whatever size we want, but we generally try and stay in normal sheet sizes like queen, full, whatever, but we can do infinitely vary this size. And it's a real simple process that pulls out. We'll grab the handle under here. And it's
easy peasy.
And it's a queen bed. And it's a pretty comfortable. I have slept on one. It's a pretty comfortable. There's no bar in your back and all that with the 5-inch cushions. You set it back up.
Yeah, very easy.
And you're ready to go.
Now, this is built in-house at 1492 Coachworks.
Yep. Yeah, we actually saw one of the frames up there by upholstery when we were walking through earlier. We build all that. It's maple, hardwood maple frame. We put the springs on it. So that's being as vertically integrated as we are allows us to do a lot of different things and be true full custom.
And so when I saw this coach for the first time at Bear-Jackson, you guys had a little engineering feature in this that I'm surprised no one in the RV industry has figured this out
the
yet.
Ladder.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
You guys got to see this. So we gotta jump right to my favorite feature. The best ladder in a bunk model motorhome. I mean, just so simple. I mean, just so robust too. When we put this up and down, I mean, you can feel the build quality. It's not a flimsy ladder. And do you mind if I climb up there and try it out for size here? Yeah.
It ought to work.
Now this is, what size is this?
That's basically a full size bunk. And as you get in there, how we do our cab over, you gain more height. Inside there, far more than industry norm because we raise that up.
Now keep in mind, this is not for the paying customers. We're going to show that in a second, but I really do like that ease of getting up here.
It is kind of a pain. Where are you going to put the ladder, especially when you're going down the road? And that's what really drove that. That was a comment from a customer. Was like, there's got to be something. Like, you guys can do it. Come up with something cool. And I kind of went to engineering and was like, let's do a ladder like this. And then that's what they came out with, and it worked awesome. And that kind of ties in to our cab over, our convertible cab over, which we're not the first to ever do that. But some customers, they need the bunk. Other customers want a full walkout. And this is sort of the best of both worlds. And then that comes up, it's locked in place, doesn't rattle going down the road. It's got supports on it. That mattress folds up. If you don't need it to be a bunk, you can leave it up. You can use it for storage. It comes down, you know, just like that. Yeah, fold the mattress out and you got a bed. I like a full walkout cab, but I've got 3 kids. I kind of need a bunk. Yeah. So that was what really drove that. And again, another comment from a customer was like, could you ever do this? Like, sure, let's look at it. So
yeah, as we go up here into the cockpit area, super easy. Now, is this storage or is that just like a false face?
False face, okay. Yeah. My concern with storage there, which is a good idea, like those doors would, I'm worried. Yeah,
you could have stuff.
Then we got a situation, yeah.
But you do have a TV up here for whoever's staying in the bunk. And then also on the other side, a little bit of storage up here in the bunk and still accessible when you fold that up. USB ports and outlets, little digital panel there. But let's take a look at the cockpit area up here. Building a motor coach on this level, what caused you to use the Freightliner Cascadia chassis as your platform?
Well, really, that's kind of customer driven, which I think is one of the cool things about doing a truck framed, Super C type coaches. If you're a Pete guy, let's do Pete. I'm kind of actually a Pete guy. I like Pete's. If you're a Kenworth, if you're a Freightliner, we'll work on all of that. So it's kind of like I always say all the time, it's kind of just Ford, Chevy, Dodge. What is your preference? And even in our process from the get-go, everybody's got a different use that they're going to use that for, a different area or whatever. Some people prefer an Allison transmission, some want the 18-speed auto shift, the big 605 Cummins, or some might be a Detroit. That's all through our process. We ask those questions and we don't just have spec trucks. We order the truck specific to exactly that coach and what that customer's looking for. So
you can really convert a Peterbilt as well?
Actually, this is currently on our schedule. This is the last Freightliner we have, and that's a little bit of availability. Also, I like the Peterbilt. They've got the new wide cab. They're a nice truck. Freightliners are awesome as well. We've had great luck with them, but for whatever reason, from here on the next 2.5 years that we're scheduled out are Pete's and a few Kenworths and International, actually, and all that. But it's whatever that the customer wants. These are big, nice, beautiful, great cockpit, good layout. They drive good. Freightliners are awesome. Great service centers all over the place, all that stuff. So some of the unique stuff that was important to me that we do, like the Firefly panel is up here for the control system, so you can turn on every light, you can start the generators, you can do all of that right here. I like to personally sit here and open the slide outs because I can see down the mirrors and all that stuff as it's going. I can see inside and make sure everything's good and safe, so I like to do that all from here. This camera system, so we've got cameras on the top rail down, so you can see the top rail, you can see the side turns, it's all triggered, and then this has also got GPS function with it. You can remotely log in. It acts as a security camera. We have it piped in to the TVs in the back, so you can use it. It's stationary, just like it's on now, or when you're going down the road. So doing some features like that I really like from a safety standpoint, and the fact that you can log in, track where your coach is, and get authorities if it was ever stolen. They can come right to it. You got video footage. It's got forward-facing camera, the whole 9 yards. It's a really nice system.
I see a little CB radio here.
Yeah, well, it's a truck, you know. It's a truck. There's hardly any traffic on it anymore, but whenever traffic gets backed up or something like that, you can generally find out. But yeah, it's a truck, which is cool. But again, all of this stuff for the most part is just Freightliner. We can do, these are factory seats, but we do custom flooring, custom seats on several of the coaches coming up will be all custom seats. So
yeah, now the ride in these have improved significantly over the last several years. The cabin noise, huge. A lot of big improvements. Yeah. What's the feedback that you've seen from the customers?
Well, it's big time. I mean, if you had a 5 or 6 year old truck of any brand, like they were pretty crude. They've come so far in such a short amount of time. It honestly played in a little bit to our decision that now would be a good time to launch a more premium high-end Super C, because the trucks themselves are just, they're cool, they're quiet, you know, they're very, very drivable. Prevost and stuff like that, that's all, they're awesome and they're really drivable and they do some cool things. But I've also heard comments from people that they like the feel of the truck chassis, just the tires are out front, it feels more normal to them, which is the advantage. And then for me, the big difference between this and a Class A type chassis is the fact that there is a whole engine out in front. There's nothing unique from this point forward. There's nothing unique about this truck. You know, it's a Freightliner Cascadia. Parts are, you know, available all over. You know, Sheath the Loves mechanic on the side of the road can just about rebuild this, and I think that's the advantage of the simplicity and serviceability of a Class 8 truck is what I like about this. It's a little bit safer, just, you know, the engine's out front, so if there's a collision, it's not right on top of you, and just things like that.
As we come into the coach here, I'm noticing this cool aesthetic piece on the ceiling here, but I also see some vents with some fans. What's all going on up here?
So it is that. It's aesthetics, just to kind of clean up the roof, and it's a style piece, and we tried to, you know, keeping with the hex theme and all that. It's sort of throughout. It's in the valances. It's kind of in this. That's just some of the fun that we get to have, or the customers get to have along with this. But, you know, we hide this. The fan is up there. I like a front ceiling fan just for air movement and all that stuff. And then the AC is in here. So the AC return. When the slides come in, it can get a little stuffy in here, and we like this feature because you can open it up and dump the air right down the middle when you're going down the road. And then those all stay up. So it kind of cleans all that up. It quiets it down tremendously. We have a really quiet AC system, you know, in that ducting. We looked at that a little bit earlier, all that ducting and the amount of it, and the fact that it's all in a circular pattern all helps with wind noise and all that kind of stuff. So this helps with that, and it's a trim piece to kind of trim it all out. It's a design piece, you know, all that.
Now, I really like the style of the sleeper on this side. Mm-hmm. Do we have sleeping on both sides? Or
yeah, this is just a jackknife sofa. So it comes up. makes into a bed. This is access panel for the TV. So that's where we put the TV. So that's just an access panel.
And I want to point out how quiet that televator is when that comes up. I'm in different motorhomes, and sometimes they could be a little more clunkety. Very smooth.
Yeah, and with the solid surface, especially with our router with the CNC, we can kind of get that to really kind of just fit in there real nice, so it really disappears. And when it's down, like, and even when it's up going down the road, it's a really quiet. That's a really, really nice mechanism.
Yeah, and then with the height in this slide room, you have storage up here as well above your TV, where in other motorhomes, typically this would take up so much space that it would be protruding your view there. Really a lot you can do with these slides.
And in keeping with the custom theme, I mean, we've got some coming up, like people just want, hey, I want huge windows there. You know, it all depends on how you're going to use it. I want huge windows, so we put big windows there, no overheads. You know, we do have an order for the one with the projector coming out of this, going onto the window, and then the reverse deal, which is really cool. Like
I know Newell was the first to do that, so you're the second that I know of. When is that coach coming?
That coach is 2 coaches out from now.
Wow.
So later this summer we'll have that out, and I'm excited about that because I actually saw them do that, and that was like, that's a really great idea. Such a use of space. It's amazing. Like, you design all these floor plans and they're like, yep, I got, the seating, we got, this is cool. Wait, where are we going to put the TV? It almost always boils down to that. And you're trying to work the floor plan to get the good viewing angle from everywhere and not sacrifice storage space or anything like that. So that is one that I was like, that makes a lot of sense, you know, to bury that, and then it just projects onto the screen, and then you have your outside entertainment center feature with that, which I think is really, really cool. So
I'm sure a lot of your customers will be glad that you were watching YouTube videos.
Yeah. So it was some other guy out of Idaho or something. I don't know. But on our overhead doors, you know, simple stuff, but it is usability stuff and stuff we've learned along the way. There's a support, so the door stays up. Everything in here all soft closes, goes down to a mag catch and all that stuff, so it's not gonna vibrate or rattle going down the road. But you know, the horse trailer background that we have has led to a whole lot of this stuff, and then we've learned a lot. Every coach gets better. That's our stated goal. I mean, literally to make the next coach better than the last. So we learn, we listen for sure, and try and improve along the way. Our windows are the flush windows, but they're also the thermal pane windows. It helps with noise, certainly helps with condensation, with heat, you know, loss and transfer, either way, even when it's cold or whatever. So it's an upgraded window. You know, like we saw on the outside, it's flushed in to the outside, so it's got a great look and all that. But all the insulation that we're putting in this thing is, you know, between the thermal pane windows, the ceramic thermal insulation, literally the black stuff that's on the bottom side of the space shuttle is what we're spraying on the inside of this to stop thermal transfer. That's what it was developed for. And then we close cell spray foam the whole unit. So it's about as good insulation as I can figure out to put in it so far.
Yes, sir. And I'm noticing too, the windows vent out as well. Is that standard with
That's
windows?
Standard, but it's again customer driven. You know, what we've noticed, some of our customers, you know, want the vented window because they're just going to go RVing and they want to be able to turn like the ceiling fan on and open it up. Personally, to be honest with you, I would do it ventless, like, so it's just a fixed pane window with no bars, better visibility and all that stuff.
You can do it both ways.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and all the side windows, just because we don't want the side window in the slides when we do, whether it's the small one or we have one that's smaller yet or the bigger one, they're all fixed pane because I don't want that window to be kicked out and somebody run the slide in and crash the slide. So fixed pane windows, I like fixed pane windows.
So going into the galley area here, very simple. What's all going on here?
Simple is a good term for it. It's good size. We run this ledge. This is really just one of the configurations we can do. We don't have to put this ledge. I personally like this ledge. I think it's got good look. We have the outlets that go in it, but we can run this countertop straight back. We can fully recess this and put a countertop cover. We don't have to do it at all. We got the sink cover here, wrapping that all the way around. You've got your water pump and all that stuff is switched on there. Countertop extension. So just to pick up if you're, prep area and all that.
Well, and this divider is really nice too. I like this divider, just kind of simple, but breaking it up.
And it can take a ton of abuse, frankly. It's not wood or something like that that's going to get dented, and it can take water and all that. Solid surface.
Okay,
all our drawers throughout everything, they're all dovetail rail, solid maple drawer boxes, soft close, again, the maple. I wouldn't personally have a coach without a trash can.
Yes, sir.
So, because you're always looking. So, but again, everybody's got their thing, but the trash can, and then we do the little cubby back behind it just for bags and trash and extra storage and all that. We literally have no preset floor plan. I really like this floor plan. This is a variation of one that we've done with 2 full baths. This is a bath and a half coach, but I like this floor plan a lot. It's really open, the big slides and all that stuff. It's a good kitchen area and all that. But our whole process really starts with a conversation. Like, what are you looking for? You know, what are you wanting to do with it? You know, how many do we need to sleep? All that kind of stuff. And then based off of that, our sales team kind of puts together, you know, their interpretation of what we just talked, you know, they just talked about, send that out, and then however many times we need to go back and forth on the floor plan to get what the customer is looking for, then we kind of price it and then order the truck and all that stuff after it. So there's no preset floor plans. There's no modular floor plan. There's no, it's full custom.
Full custom, yeah. Now, what's the craziest floor plan that you've done? Have you done anything crazy?
Coming up, and it's that king bed cab over coach. It actually has a rear patio on it, so a fold-out rear patio.
Wow, that's going to be exciting to see.
I'm kind of, like, it was kind of one of those things that, like, clicked to me, like, when he said it, as crazy as that, as lame as that might sound to some people, like, I'm like, hey, outdoor patio is cool. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I've used one, and so I was kind of all keen. And
I've been a fan since the Country Coach verandas, and I'm really excited to see how you engineer it, because all the little engineering, the cool trick stuff that you guys have done, I'm excited. That's something I can look forward to.
I am too, because I mean, it's got to look cool, right? Or what's the point? Let's be honest. Like, if it doesn't look cool, there's no point. So I wanted it to be clean and look good and function. So we just developed our own. It's nothing. We didn't go buy a mechanism off the shelf. We looked, just was nothing that was going to fit, you know. So I'm excited. I think our engineers knocked that kind of design out of the park. So it's getting ready to it's in fab now. So here in another couple weeks, we'll have it workable and usable. So I'm excited about that. So that one's crazy. You know, that was pretty out there and unique.
Yeah, is there anything that you won't do?
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's not 1492 and Outback Customs. We're not a company of no. We've never been. Like, we're gung-ho on if it can be figured out, but there are limits, and there are things, if we are going to say no, it's because Kirk, our engineering director, and myself, we don't feel comfortable that that's, you know,
the best solution.
And going to work and be something, you know, even some of the stuff that we're like, yeah, let's do, like, it takes a lot of engineering and figuring out, and we've learned along the way, like, sometimes it's best for the customer, like, you know, it's a good idea, but maybe it doesn't make sense. But generally speaking, no. I mean, it's kind of upside down, inside out, purple polka dots, you know, what are you looking for? And that's our niche, right? You know, somebody said a while ago, like, geez, you're going to put, you know, the other guys out of business. I'm like, that's not my goal. Actually, I want the business that they don't want to build. That's what I have no ambition on getting, you know, huge high volume. I want to stay high customer service. I want to stay high value. I want to stay lower volume, you know, to a point, just so we can pull off all that stuff. And that's our niche in the world. That's really what we want to do. That's what our whole team wants to do. When we roll a coach out, and even the trailers and all that, you know, we roll a show trailer, like, our group, our crew comes out and, like, they're taking pictures, and they're like, that's the deal. Like, when you're building something like that and they're proud to build and they're engaged in the process, like, I feel like that makes me feel good about what we're doing.
When I was at Barrett-Jackson and there was all this stuff to see, I saw the 1492 Coachworks display, and I was like laser focused, had to see.
Well, that's what you do.
Yeah, exactly. But there was a lot of other RVs there as well. But I was like, what is this? I wanted to know more. Yeah. But now, before we see the rest of the coach, I've got to ask you the question. I know everyone out there in the comments section is going to be asking, when are we going to see a 1492 Coachworks motor coach on the Tesla all-electric chassis?
I've actually had a few people bring that up, and we've had somebody ask about, you know, Freightliner and Kenworth and all those are building kind of an electric for sure and all that. You know, I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody on the Tesla side of it, but I have talked in great depth on the Kenworth side of it and Freightliner. And from everything it's probably 10 years off.
Okay.
Best case scenario. We need 45-foot long frame rails and stuff like that, and that's not what they're doing right now. But I'm intrigued to do that. It takes a big charger, but in my mind, I'm like, well, you could put a diesel generator on it, charge it, extend range, all those kind of things. I'm all about that, and the lithium technologies and all that stuff, dual inverters, all that kind of stuff.
Have you been playing with the lithium technology at all?
Yeah,
so
for
does
sure.
this coach have lithium?
This coach does not. This just has the 8D AGM. But again, that's like user stuff. How are you going to, lithium is a high ticket item. It may or may not be beneficial in the long run. It may not be cost effective or make sense to do. So we do, typically when we do them, we do a battery bank. So we're not just putting, 8D lithium batteries in. We're doing a battery pack, about 800 amp hours a piece. We can do up to 2 in the standard configuration. So you can get huge lithium. Typically we'll do dual inverter. We're working right now, without voiding the warranty on the truck and all that, which is important to us, to do an additional dedicated alternator off the truck that would recharge the batteries going down the road. And maybe not eliminate the need for a generator, but greatly reduce the need to use the generator. So some stuff like that is definitely in development. And, as we go along, at this point, we've built 8 coaches. So yeah, we've been in business 11 years building the horse trailer stuff and specialty and all that stuff. But the coach side is definitely, development. And above all, I want it to go out right and high quality and all that stuff. So as much as it drives me nuts, it's like patience, just it's all a work in progress and, step that stuff out. So we can't do it all at once or it would be a failure, I think. So.
Yeah. But you can do lithium batteries,
for sure. Yeah, we've done. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, the coach that we had at Barrett Jackson last year had lithium battery packs on it and dual inverter and all that stuff.
Nice.
So, and it does. Obviously they recharge off the truck.
Do you know what the cost on that system is roughly?
About $25,000
Yep.
for that dual setup. It's roughly half of that for the single. So
cool.
Yeah, and there's things that are nice with the lithium. They're extended warranty, all that stuff. So yeah, they're more upfront, but a couple year lifespan on 8D AGMs are pretty good. You should be able to get 15, 20 years out of lithium. So
yeah, well, that's good to give the customer the option depending on how they're going to use it.
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what else is going on in this coach? I know we utilize the storage here. You got storage underneath the booth here.
Yeah. Again, this is all built in-house. We build this. All of the furniture in here is our in-house built stuff.
Yeah.
Again, you can do the villa stuff.
I like that it kind of curves right here so you can kind of spin out, but still plenty of room here at the table. Nice little ledge here. And I really like just to be able to vent out those windows, get a little fresh air while you're eating.
Yeah, and that, like, with the curved, it's cool because, it's loungy, right? And you can just hang out and you can watch. There's pluses and minuses to everything. You lose a little bit of, like, if you wanted to sit 2 people on each side, this isn't the one. We don't make this into a bed. We could, but you would have to have a spare cushion, that you got to store somewhere. So typically this is a fixed, no table or no leg underneath it table. So this doesn't make it into a sleeper. If somebody wants it to be a sleeper, typically it's got to be straight backed, like these are tapered, but straight backed, and then the back cushions make into a dinette. So you can pick this up as another nearly full-size sleeping compartment.
Yeah, I'm noticing, outlets and USB ports down here. And then I love the little details like the 1492 Coach Works. Such a cool company name and a cool logo engraved there.
Yeah, and then Fisher Paykel fridge. That's generally, again, it is a little bit custom, but we prefer the Fisher Paykel appliance package. So microwave and fridge and all that are Fisher Paykel. Just the simple latch mechanism for the freezer in the fridge, and it opens up. Residential. We can put water in it. We can do ice in it. We can do none of that. Trim ring around. It's all fitted in there, nice and flush. Back here is kind of one of our more unique things. I've seen really high-end Super Cs for the stepwell cover, which some people want or don't want. It's just a carpeted piece of, OSB that sits down in there, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. So we designed this as a really stupid simple, right? Nothing trick to it, but if you got kids or a dog or whatever, especially going down the road, it's right there, it folds up and gets out of the way. I've learned actually to put that down. The noisiest place in this coach going down the road is that stepwell. The noise just comes up, even though that's a premium high-end camper door and all the sound deaden we do. But when you shut that down, man, it cuts a lot of that noise out. So whether I have kids in here or not, we generally travel with it down on ours. So,
well, just such a nice little engineering where it's simple, it's tucked out of the way, you don't see it. And I like that it's manual, one less thing that can break.
For sure, yeah.
You're not running electric or air or anything.
Yeah.
And then just the simple, cool stuff you guys do. We all need a spot to set our keys or dog leashes.
Yeah.
Just nice to have that there. Then you got a little storage up top here, and just the floors and the whole feel of this coach is beautiful. That entryway when we came in here, all the flooring's done in-house here at 1492.
Yeah, and of course we can do heated, non-heated. We've done heated showers, which I kind of like, heated shower floors and walls.
Really? So the floors of the shower are heated, actually. Wow, I've never.
Yeah,
that's something that gets me excited.
I know
it's on a cold day.
Right, as weird as that is, I'm like, no, that's a great feature. I would have that, right?
Yeah, and then as we're going out, all these little stuff that I get excited about, I got to point out to you guys. But the lion emblem here in the slide face. Now, what's the story behind the logo and the name 1492 Coach?
It's really stupid, but my wife and I's fun games is making fun of the RV names going down the road, because we all try and get these catchy things. And so anyway,
they're all named after natural disasters. Right?
It seemed that way anyway, or car names or whatever, and then come up with the taglines or whatever. So anyway, it was our controller and plant manager and I, we were messing around trying to figure out what the name should be. So I was really, really stuck on the Coachworks part of it. Like, I wanted something Coachworks or Coachworks something or something to that effect, because of the tie-in to like the early days of automotive, when Cadillac and all those guys, well, they just built sort of a rolling chassis, and then they sent it out to the coach builders at the time, the wagon maker type deal. So you'd have a Cadillac with a different Coachwork body, and depending on who did it, it was different levels of high end and all that. And I just thought that was really good tie-in to kind of what we're doing here. You're buying a rolling chassis more or less, and then we're putting the Coachworks part of it. So I was stuck on that, and then I think it was Ryan, our controller, was like, you could call it Columbus Coachworks. Discover all new places in your one-of-a-kind Columbus Coachworks. So I told my wife that, and she said, well, you could call it 1492. I was like, well, what is that? And she's like, well, the year Columbus sailed the ocean blue. I'm like, oh, I kind of like that. So it was nothing more than that, as lame as that is.
And it's just a little patriotic vibe.
Yeah, exactly. And it does signify the exploration and adventure and all that stuff, which is the whole point of why we're doing this. It's rarely that we're doing this for a job. It does happen, but it's for fun and for pleasure, and because you've worked hard and gotten to where you can do stuff like this and things like that. So you're going out on an adventure and the family time and all that kind of stuff that ties in with, like, go camping. Whatever level you can afford to do it, get out and take your family. It's awesome, right? And that's we really enjoy it as a family. So there was that. And then the lion, which we nicknamed Tony the Tiger, is actually a heraldry lion. So back in that era when Columbus and all those guys were getting out, they would get commissioned, and they would the king would say something about them and their character and all that, and give them a heraldry flag that had their lion. So if you look it up, there's hundreds of thousands of different heraldry lions, and this is our heraldry lions. So I thought it was a little bit, like, at first it took me a minute to get used to, and our marketing director kind of developed it, but he knows me well enough. He's just wait, let it be a couple days.
I like it.
It's definitely our thing now, and I like it. And it's a simple thing, but it's sort of a signature thing. And then honestly, we keep adding more and more capability, and I'm not ashamed to admit it all. This is what's in this coach is the very first stuff we've ever in-house embroidered. So that's been a goal of mine since about day one, was to bring embroidery in-house, and this was the first stuff
that we just saw. They're working hard in there. You've got a very talented team here.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they're awesome. They're more gung-ho than I am on a lot of this stuff. So
it's a well-oiled machine, and we're going to do another video touring the whole factory, showing the whole build process of these. I'll leave that in the description below. Definitely worth checking out. But let's keep cruising through this.
Yeah, I talked about, I like this floor plan a lot. Like, one of my favorite features of this floor plan is actually this hallway. There's the half bath here that we'll look at, but just the storage that's picked up in this hallway is awesome. Nice big pantry space, and I love that. Like,
I've never seen another Super C utilizing this area that way.
Yep, and then the half bath in here, we use macerator toilets on everything. You've got storage in behind here. This one is fixed. It's a dummy door. Behind here, we do something that's really unique to us, where we actually will exhaust the generator up through the roof. roof, because at certain national parks, RV resorts, things like that, racetracks, you can't run your generator unless it's exhausted above the roof line. So you're adding a Genturi onto the side. That's something that you got to install and take off, and building that built-in basically Genturi on it, I think is really cool, and a feature that I believe is unique to us. I haven't seen it done before. Just a normal half bath. Again, we have a configuration that we did prior to this. This was a full bath.
So you've done some 2 full bath coaches.
Oh yeah, a lot.
That seems popular now. Are they having bunks or not? Both ways.
Yep.
So you can do it with or without bunks.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of that floor plan, because 2 people can shower at the same time.
For sure.
Or if your family's even staying out here, sometimes they can utilize this. And
the next one coming out is a floor plan I like a lot. It's 2 full baths, bunk bed, has 2 seating, sleeps, geez, it probably sleep 10 people,
Could you do bathtub or
that's hilarious. Did you hear that, Chuck Dawson? Did you hear that, Chuck Dawson?
I mean, hey,
it's 3 coaches out from now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We got it now. I wish you guys are a little far from Oklahoma City. I wish I could film every coach that comes through here. But now you guys do have your own YouTube channel with some videos out there. I'll make sure to leave that in the description.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I've been kind of, for better or for worse, you're building stuff. Well, I can't build stuff unless we have purchasing. I can't build stuff unless we have people. I can't, we better invoice the product or we're going to go out of business. So we need accounting and all that. Marketing has always been like, something that just I didn't prioritize much. And we have missed so many opportunities. So I'm really, Zach, our new marketing guy, that's here in-house, and there's a ton of stuff that's getting ready to come out on our own stuff.
So how many likes or comments do we need to get you guys to do a video on the bathtub coach coming soon? I'm thinking 10,000 likes.
Yeah,
if we can get 10,000, that's a pretty high number. So we need 10,000 likes.
Yep.
If we can get 10,000 likes on this video, you guys are going to do a video on the 1492 Coachworks channel on the bathtub Super C coming soon. But let's keep cruising through this one. Yeah, so coming back into the bedroom, it's so much bigger with the larger slide rooms than other Class Cs I've been in. The height, again, 6'2" height in the slide room really opens it up back here. But what's all going on?
Yeah, and that's the cool thing we can and do with Valid is, we can adjust the heights and all that. They let us do all of that stuff, which is really cool for them to be as custom as we are. And what a great company, a great slide mechanism, all that stuff. Here's the list of things we wanted to accomplish, badass bay doors, big slides, all that stuff. Like, those were some of the things that were really important, because it does make a difference, huge difference. Head height, all that stuff matters. In the bed slide, this is basically an RV King bed, so it's 72 wide, but we can do a window or not do a window. We can do a cabinet, no cabinet. All that stuff is very configurable to what somebody wants. The control system, Firefly system, is on both sides of the bed, so you can control the whole coach from that. Like you pointed out, the USB, all of the outlets in here all have the USB-C. Hanging closets, it's all automatic lights, so it's well lit, and the light runs the full height in here instead of just being at the top where it kind of gets blocked. Good, stout closet rod, hang as much as you want. And then this is a feature that I really like on this, serviceability, and this speaks to serviceability a little bit for us. Serviceability is a huge key. Like, stuff's going to break. It's going to break. So we want to make sure that it's serviceable and all that stuff. So throughout, it's a hallmark of our engineering is serviceability in everything. If a customer has an issue, my view on it is we don't want to make them more upset by making it difficult to get repaired or do the repair. So access panels, just to get in, this is nice and clean, no wires and all that. But if you're trying to hook up wires and do all that, it's really hard to do that there. But gaining that hanging space there, we put a lot of safes in and all that.
Very well lit, very bright. Yeah. When you open different motorhome cabinets, there's different levels of brightness, and you guys aren't skimping on the lighting at all.
Yeah, and of course it's auto light. This is the typical configuration where the opposing slides, you've got the pocket in here that the mattress and the bed kind of goes into. We have another option that is a little like, I think Newell kind of does a little bit. We do our variation of it where the foot of the bed flips over. This stays fixed, basically. That slide comes in and it stays at this point. And that allows us to go full height with these cabinets with no build out. We maybe do double hanging. We could do a washer dryer in here. We can do all that. And then you gain about a 15-inch aisleway all the way through, so you can full walk through. In this configuration, you can sleep in this bed going down the road, basically how this is. That's the advantage of this versus that. The other one's a little tougher to sleep in. So if somebody wants to be back here resting or whatever, traveling with the slides in, this allows for it. The other one allows for full walkthrough, which is pretty cool. Going on to the pocket doors, so we build this all in-house. There's a few things that we do on the actual door structure itself. The reality of this is there's a lot of wood product in hot and cold. On the coach side of life, a lot of times they are kept inside, climate controlled and all that, but there are times when it's not. So somebody might come in, it might be 120 degrees in here because it's been sitting outside. You come in and kick the ACs on, and an hour later it's 70 degrees in here, and it's really violent on wood. It moves it pretty good. Or the opposite, where it was cold and then you heat it up. We've learned over the years in the horse trailer stuff how to kind of combat that and make them pull against each other to keep that door straight, because if your pocket door gets warped, it doesn't work nearly as good. Pocket door is, on this one, is fully mirrored both sides, and we can do that on every door. We can do that on some doors.
You can do different patterns too on the door.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
we saw, and those are all built in-house.
Yeah, every bit of it's built in-house. I kind of like, cool, it's sort of that more rustic kind of style, but like, that crossbuck pattern kind of thing in the door. I mean, we did that on last year's Barrett Jackson coach that we built. It's just kind of a different deal. I think that whole, we've got some very modern, coaches that are coming up on the schedule, and that's kind of our look can radically change. So like I said earlier, beauty's in the eye of the beholders, and our niche is to build what somebody is looking to do. This door doesn't rattle. You can hear it's locked in. We go to great lengths on the shades, on everything to make sure that we're minimizing or 100% avoiding the rattle in here. It drives me nuts to be driving down the road and have that.
Do you ever do electric or air pocket doors?
We haven't yet. It's certainly something. I mean, I know the mechanism. In fact, we're working right now with a brand of jet, like, private jet manufacturer, like parts manufacturer, if you will. Pocket doors are one of them.
Oh, cool.
A couple cool little table things that we're working with to see if we can either adapt or develop our own little deal, which is kind of cool. Like aircraft stuff's pretty nice stuff, just like yacht stuff.
Looking forward to seeing what comes from the aviation industry.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. We've had, as much luck with, sourcing good, high quality components. You look in the yacht market more than you look, anywhere else, because that stuff's just designed to take an abuse. And then, in the aircraft stuff, it's got redundancy and it's really, really, bulletproofed. Of course, there's costs associated with all that, but got to pay for quality. So
yes, sir.
We have to have an escape window back here by code. In this particular coach, it's back here in the bathroom. Of course, that shade's going to be down 99% of the time. It does let in a lot of good light, has a good vent on it, but the escape window's here, and that allows us to have more storage up here in the master. So it can be anywhere back of here. Again, macerator toilets, we're standard with macerator toilets. I think it drains better. Like, I like everything about it. It's a good, high quality toilet.
What are your holding tank capacities?
68 black and gray, 1 each. And then we have a third tank option that can either be an additional black or gray, whichever the customer would prefer. And then on the fresh tanks, it's standard 150. We have an option, depending on what the bed size is and how it's configured, to go up to 200 gallons. And all of that stuff we're actively working to, as we design and continue to develop our systems, to even improve that even more. I'd like to get 200 waste tank in, without having to add that additional tank. So,
but you can do some serious boondocking with the 150 fresh, and then you said 65 black,
68 each. Yeah. So there's two. And again, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, you're going for a solid weekend without trying to conserve on that. You can go for a week plus, if you're conserving, and then of course top off, fill up. But it is a lot. I mean, that's in the industry leading, but we want to be past that. So we're always working to push that.
And are these built to RVIA code?
Mm-hmm. Yep, you bet. We are TR Arnold certified on these, so same code, same all that stuff. We've been TR Arnold on the horse trailer side for years, so it's third-party certification, not RVIA. And they're what I like about them is they're more custom-oriented, because every floor plan's different and all that kind of stuff. They seem to be a little bit better on kind of doing that small one-off different floor plan. So yeah, every floor plan certified. There's a seal on the outside of every coach, and it's a 3-year full coverage warranty on everything. Anything we install that's, you know, not the truck chassis part of it, it's 3-year full coverage warranty. Generators, all that stuff. We've become who we are on the Outback Custom side of the business because of service. Like, that's what we're known for above all, is our customer service after the sale. And bringing that into the coaches, I think, is a big deal. It's something that, you know, Liberty and Prevost and Emerald, all those guys do well, you know, and that's what you're buying too, is you're buying great customer service with their product as well as with ours.
I've actually had some of your customers email me, I didn't tell you, just absolutely raving. I totally forgot about that until right now, but before I met you, someone emailed me just raving about the customer service. So one of the units that you bought, someone took the time to just rave cool. about you and write me an email, and they were trying to get us to come out here, but I listened to those emails and we made the trip finally. So, but it's easy for you to say it, but you have other people.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we've got our kind of our wall of fame up there, if you will. That's only a fraction of the pro cowboys and cowgirls that we have that are in our product, and it's always a high honor to me. Like, we're not sponsoring those people per se. You know, we're not giving them product or anything like that. They want our product, and they want it because it keeps them on the road. Like, we keep them on the road and we go to great lengths. So again, just bringing that philosophy into this, especially in the Super C realm, you know, I think is a total difference. That's part of the reason why we are a factory direct builder on the 1492 side. We want to be there. I want you talking to our folks. We want to be hands-on throughout the whole process, beginning, you know, before, during, and after the sale. Anyway, back on the master suite. This one's a 48-inch shower. The bathtub one's going to be a lot more like 72. Yeah. So it'll be huge. All the tile, lighting under the cabinets, again, drawers, you know, here. This was something that, you know, customer asked us. You know, normally we were doing a frame door, you know, similar to this with a mirror in it. Customer brought up a great point. You know, it raises the mirror up here. Well, that's fine for you and me, but for something that's a little bit shorter, it's a little less visible. So we developed this door here to basically have the mirror frame come all the way down. So, you know, we do listen and add. Our showers standard are tile base, so it's full custom base, and then we do solid surface walls and do the built-in niches and all that stuff. We obviously can do full tile showers, which are awesome designs that we can do with that kind of stuff. I personally like the simplicity of this. I like the clean walls. I like that there's less grout in it. You know, it wipes down easy. It looks good, and it's really bulletproof. We put it on the ceiling in here. We can do a lot of different shower doors, you know, from the opaque to the clear to all that stuff. We have a really nice latch that our door vendor has developed that just locks in place. It's got a great travel mechanism. Very pleased with Shower Door Source here in Oklahoma City. They're freaking awesome. If anybody's needing a door, they're great. And actually, I'll give them props. They installed this door at 10:30 before Barrett Jackson. At night, 10:30 at night, they were here in our shop. So we can't do it without good vendors like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta get those show coaches to get there at the 11th hour. Yeah. I get it.
People think that's on TV, where the hot rod shows where they're like thrashing. That's been our experience so far. But
there's probably been some all-nighters at some point.
For sure, many of them. But that's part of it. You know, when you're developing a new product line back in, 10 years ago with Outback Customs, it was the same way. You know, a little slide trailer, about killed us. We were here till the wee hours of the morning, and that, the big show trailers and all that stuff are big, nice, trailers. They just kind of go through the whole process, and they're just not backbreakers. And every one of these is getting better about that. But yeah, I don't know. It's sick as it may sound. We kind of enjoy that. We like the group of people that are here. Like we bond, I guess, is the best way to say that. And it's just, we're all beyond exhausted and all that stuff, but you look back on it, you almost wouldn't trade it, right? So
yes, sir.
It's just part of building custom.
All right, so I've got to ask, definitely a lot of value in everything that 1492 Coachworks has done here. What kind of money does someone need? And I know these are all custom, so what's the range to own one of these?
About $1 million to $1.5 million, depending on where it's configured. This one is about, retails out at like 1.4. You pay somewhere 1.2, 1.1 in that zone for this coach. That's including the truck and the whole deal. So turnkey as it comes out. But again, just the range of options from seating, covered, all that stuff, the leather stuff, wood species, all this kind of stuff is a huge,
Lots
variants
of variables.
on, slide outs, how many slides, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, about $1 million, $1.5 million though.
Can you do a non-slide coach?
Sure, we can do. Ironically, one of the more common questions that we get when somebody emails in or calls us is, will you do a short coach?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my response is, yeah, sure. Can you do a short coach? Yeah. Because that's almost inevitably everybody wants, and I get, you can get it around easier and all that stuff, but by the time we get done with the I want list, it's usually ends up like, well, how much bigger can we go, kind of deal. And but that's all, I'm all about it. We have some products that we're working on developing that are even on a smaller chassis, more like expedition type, stuff and things of that nature that we've had in the engineering queue for quite a while, and maybe even a custom toy hauler built 1492 style.
Hey, I like it. That's something exciting. It sounds like some exciting stuff coming through the pipeline now. I'm looking forward to seeing the bathtub coach, the rear party deck coach.
Yeah, right.
A lot of cool stuff. Now, definitely worth subscribing to your YouTube channel. I'm hoping we can get 10,000 likes so you do some videos on that stuff.
Sure.
If someone's a serious and qualified buyer and they want to purchase one of these coaches, who should they get a hold of?
Call Weston Jarvis here at the office, 405-745-6666 is the number, or Weston J, WESTONJ at 1492coachworks.com. There's the info button on our webpage, 1492coachworks.com and all that. And of course, anybody's more than welcome to get a hold of me. I'm usually out in the shop, and Weston does the legwork, does a great job of getting it all done. And Lisa, of course, that you met earlier in the design center, Lisa gets involved in the process, but a little bit further on. Again, it all starts with a conversation. So email's fine, we'll call you back, all that kind of stuff, but call and talk to us about what you're looking for and all that, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Well, really appreciate you having us out here to see this beautiful.
Sure, yeah. Thanks for coming.
I'm excited to see what's coming in the future too.
Appreciate it.
I'll leave a link to your YouTube channel in the description below. Definitely worth checking that out. Aaron, really appreciate you.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
Also appreciate all of you out there subscribing to the channel and liking these videos. I hope you're all having a great day. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Oh.